McHale who gets the catch. He's got patrol.
A week ago, when last we joined the airwaves here from George Smith Field, we made the mistake of saying weather would not be a factor in a game of high school lacrosse. Tonight, while it might not affect the flight of the ball, the vision of the athletes, it certainly will have an impact on the game tonight. As a top-of-the-line Metro East Conference matchup tonight, as the Hill Murray Pioneers travel up the road to Mahtomedi to take on the Mahtomedi Zephyrs on this Monday evening in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. With Earnhardt Jaworski, I'm Alex Westhead, and Earnhardt, weather is going to be the story of this one. Last week when we were here for the boys game, we didn't think the weather would play a factor.
It was a gorgeous day.
Beautiful day. But here,
it's a cloudy day out. The windmill is flowing.
and again, we talked last week, for those who joined us on the airwaves, that the wind does not have that much of an impact on the flight of the ball. But as an athlete out there, in the attire for girls lacrosse, and boys lacrosse too, actually all outdoor sports for that matter, it's going to play a mental game tonight for these athletes.
Where as if you keep your eye on the ball, you're going to notice just the little adjustments that the ball has to make that you have to adjust to as well.
Our player on the screen tonight for the Hill Murray Pioneers, entering with a record of 5-0 for Earnhardt Jaworski's Hill Murray Pioneers, Emmy Senkowski, again, combined with Lorelei Van Gilder, one of the top offensive outputs in the state. For Senkowski, 24 goals in the season, good for 9th in the state in girls lacrosse. On the other side, on your screen right now, senior Jane Dimitri, varsity starter since the 8th grade in 2019, the second most assists in the state. The opening face-off in possession immediately for the Hill Murray Pioneers as they go back to the far side. Senkowski working her way on in, trying to evade some pressure, trying to get a shot off. We'll have to pull it back on the ground. Ball scooped up back by the Zephyrs. And then the Pioneers regain possession once again. Kate Kangas with possession here onto the right-hand side. She'll work it back around. As we saw, again, the umbrella seems to be the go-to method for lacrosse athletes. This is something that we'll see tonight as well, as both teams try to maintain possession. The last matchup came in the Section 4 semifinals in June of 2019. Hill Murray 15, Mahtomedi 10, in a matchup that, as a shot missed wide to the right there, the goaltender Boxmeyer got the butt end of the stick on it, goes all the way back to the far side. Another ground ball picked up by Hill Murray. A 15-10 Pioneer victory over these Mahtomedi Zephyrs before a loss in the section final. A very contested loss to the Stillwater Ponies back in that day in June. Whistle blows, and we'll have a free position here, as the officials will talk about it. Again, if you're new to girls lacrosse, we've done a broadcast of these games before. The clock does not stop except for goals and on the official signal. So a slight variance to that of the boys game. So the free position here for Hill Murray, and it'll be Lorelei Van Gilder, who's committed to the University of Marquette to play lacrosse. Excellent defender as well for Cesare Angstom's Pioneer hockey team, and she scores. The first free position for the Pioneers results in a goal, 1-0 Hill Murray.
And it was just a quick draw off the free play, and just beats the goaltender. Just a quick move in the short distance that she had to shoot the ball. And the Pioneers find themselves up 1-0 here very early on.
Well, again, we take a look at it. She just took that run in and shot her 5-hole. But again, that's one of the differences where you talk about between boys lacrosse and girls lacrosse. It's one of the things that takes some getting used to in seeing that difference, that free position just on the outside edge of that crease. It's an unbelievable offensive scoring chance for both teams.
Number 3, Lorelei Van Gilder.
We'll have another face-off here at center. 1-0 Pioneers lead, 23-34 remaining. Again, just 25 minutes of running time here between this one. Again, a 3 officiating crew, as there have been a couple of cancellations today. White Bear Lake, Irondale in boys lacrosse has been canceled due to lack of officials, so we are always, of course, thankful for those officials. Zephyrs with possession back again on their attacking side of the line. They are 3-1 so far, just one matchup in the Metro East, and their last time out, a 15-7 loss to the Blake Bears. And for Mahtomedi tonight, Earnhardt, offense has to be where they're going.
Offense has to be where you're going, especially against a Hill Murray Pioneer squad that is such a high-octane team, and where they can show that they can put the ball in the back of the net repeatedly multiple times a game.
Chimnosky tried to pass in front for Gosser, goes out of bounds. Allison Wilkie had to stick to it first, so she'll maintain possession as the Zephyrs attack in their attacking half. Again, 3-1 on the year are the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. The last 10 matchups between Hill Murray and Mahtomedi, as we started to talk a little bit a while ago, they split the last 4 combined between the two of them, each winning 2 of the last 4. But prior to that, dating from 2015 to 2017, a 6-game winning streak for the Hill Murray Pioneers head-to-head against these Mahtomedi Zephyrs. As the Pioneers back with possession again in the attacking half. Can be reset further once again as they try to go give and go their play once again. Looking in, Kate Kangas has to defer once more to Sinkowski. Sinkowski will try to work around the defense there, finds a way into the top of the crease. The whistle blows, and I think we'll have another free position and free play for the Pioneers.
And really what the Hill Murray offense has done there for Sinkowski is they had Sinkowski run to the opposite side of the field while the rest of the team just flooded to the original side of the field just to give her a one-on-one scenario trying to beat that last vendor, and here we have another free play.
Sinkowski chooses to defer on the free position, try to go all the way back for Van Gilder. Gets onto the ground there. They have to stay on the side of the restraining line. It can be scooped up once again by Lorelei Van Gilder. Van Gilder into the attacking third, tries to go back down and low in front for Kangas, and a good save made by the netminder Olivia Boxmeyer to restart play. So an early going here, 21-22 left in the first half. 1-0 Pioneers lead. The lone goal so far by Lorelei Van Gilder off of a free position. Can be reset once again here for Olivia Godbout. Again, Pioneer knit families will remember some of the names here across all sports. The shot on goal from Godbout. She scores, and it's 2-0 Pioneers.
And once again, the 5-hole is where the shooter went. So maybe early on here for Boxmeyer, the 5-hole could be her weak spot. We'll have to see if she can reinforce that area.
Well, it's almost a difference too, as again, you see the run here by Godbout, skipping it on the ground. It's such a weak spot for all goalies across the sport of lacrosse to have to keep that stick up with the basket itself facing up and then trying to swing that down, whereas other ways you're going down to up. It's just an adjustment from this sport to a lot of other ones. So 2-0 Pioneers lead with 21:02 remaining. Goals now by Van Gilder and the freshman Olivia Godbout. On the face-off again at center. Forced back onto the Mahtomedi Zephyrs side of the field, where it can be scooped up again here by McKenna Cunnington. Cunnington on a runner, in pass, and she scores. Beautiful play by Jane Dimitri. That'll be goal number 15 on the year, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
And I believe for Dimitri, that'll be her 15th goal on the season. Just a quick, I would say, counterattack right off the face-off. For the first couple face-offs we've seen this game, it's gone towards the Zephyrs defensive end. And here, just a great pass up the middle. Cradles it a little, goes shoulder height, right next to the net. Could have been a great save, but just not there for Ellis.
I think Ellis, too, you saw that stick move the basket to the right side. Just guessed a little too late. So on the face-off here, 2-1 game now. And the draw won by the Pioneers. It'll go back to Lainey Fabian. Onto the left-hand side as they'll gain to the restraining line once again to the far side, creeping her way back into the middle, trying to work all alone. Delaney Fabian fan on it. Instead, we'll go back to reset again for Emily Sinkowski. Sinkowski, bothered by a couple of the Zephyrs defensively as Rorich shoves her to the outside. Sinkowski looking for an outlet, and again, that's one of the things that you see in lacrosse offenses, move the ball and keep it moving quickly, because otherwise that team sets up and you just run out of places to go. As another violation is called, over the top is called. We'll have the third free position for the Hill Murray Pioneers here in just the first 5 minutes of this opening half. So Van Gilder to take it again. She scored on the first one. Van Gilder winds and fires, 5-hole again. 3-1 now, the Pioneers lead.
And this time here, Van Gilder, she delayed her shot a little bit. She went down to the side before she fired that shot on. And again, 5-hole, just really on the low side of the net for Boxmeyer seems to be where the Pioneers are picking.
Well, again, you called it, Earnhardt. That delay just perfect by Lorelei Van Gilder, and you see that confidence after scoring that goal. Beautiful play by the senior for the Hill Murray Pioneers. So 3-1 now, 19:51 remaining. Again, these teams score fairly frequently, and both teams playing out of Section 4. As we'll take a look as we go through today. It's early in the season, but the season's going to conclude before we know, and the postseason play will continue. That thought to be continued as again Senkowski back inside the restraining line. Able to go back again to the far side, looking to navigate the defense set here by the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Godbout with the other Zephyr Golden Knight. Here's, wow. How do you defend that? Beautiful shot by Lorelei Van Gilder. She's got 3 on the night, 4-1 Pioneers.
And Lorelei's really showing she can score from anywhere, from right up front on that free play to here, where she just kind of weaves her way through the Mahtomedi Zephyr defense and gets the 4th goal of the game. Looks like we're having a quick timeout here.
Well, and for Ann Burns, too, to take a timeout here when in the first 5 minutes here with 19:32 remaining first half, 4-1 Pioneers lead. You've gotten some chances, but when you have to defend this, you got to take the time to defend it a little better.
And really, you can't have a defender just walk right into the middle. That's where you're supposed to be at your strongest for defense. And for just to have a player to just kind of cruise their way through there, you got to start making some adjustments to shut the Pioneers down.
So 19:32 remaining here, opening half, 4-1. The Hill Murray Pioneers lead over the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. 3 goals so far by the senior midfielder Lorelei Van Gilder, and 1 for Olivia Godbout. The lone Zephyr goal so far coming from the stick and cross of Jane Dimitri. As we take a look into the coaching circle for Ann Burns, again trying to coach this team to a victory here tonight. And on the other side for the Hill Murray Pioneers, Teresa Hansen. For the Hill Murray Pioneers, a private school out of Maplewood, Minnesota. Beautiful campus, Mary Queen of Victory Stadium, one of the most beautiful facilities in the Metro East. Great place to call any event, football, soccer, lacrosse, or anything. And we take a look at the team profiles, very similar molds to what we're seeing through, but that difference for the Hill Murray Pioneers, that goal differential, much wider than that of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs.
Yes, goal differential is really the one stat you can, if you're picking teams to like win a tournament or something like that, is really just the scoring differential. Whereas for the Pioneers here, they're scoring plenty more goals, and obviously goals win games.
And again, you see the Pioneers' victories of the Metro East Conference in 4 of the last 5 seasons. And again, there's Teresa Hansen, the head coach for these Hill Murray Pioneers. And for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, again, looking for their first win over Hill Murray since 2018. So I have another face-off here. Just 5 minutes elapsed here in the first half of this one. And it's a very busy Monday. There's 18 games to be played across the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul and beyond. And we're glad that you have chosen this one. So it'll be Van Gilder again, and the face-off opposed by McKenna Cunnington. And so far, Cunnington has won some of the draws, but has just knocked them right to the Pioneers, waiting on the on-deck circle. So the ball knocked high into the air. Van Gilder reaches for it, shoves it down to the feet of Godbout. It can be scooped up again. Godbout to recover. No, on another ground ball. Gosser able to play it there. Still waiting for the scoop up, but now Van Gilder carries it back into the attacking third for the Pioneers once more. Emily Senkowski works around there, trying to feed out in front, as there were a couple of Pioneers out in front. Another ground ball forcing a good defensive stick there by Godbout, as it's back now behind. Can be recovered once again by the Zephyrs. McKenna Cunnington all the way out to the right side. We'll say it is inbounds. Again, it's that gold line, I believe. No, the blue line all the way around. That is the out-of-bounds demarcation here for lacrosse. Of course, it's one of the difficult challenges when you have multiple sports on the same field, is multiple colored lines. You're not so sure which one you're looking for. Pioneers with possession again. Kate Kangas spins it back out in front here for Godbout once more as they work back to the high slot. And again, when you're a Mahtomedi Zephyrs team, defending against this team, you know you have excellent runners with speed and with good precision. And so you have to be fast laterally to cut off these angles that the Pioneers have been getting early.
And I want to bring up their last game that I believe they played on Saturday. They played against the Blake Bears. I think they dropped that game 15-7. But the Blake Bears, they're one of the, I believe, top 10 teams in the state for girls lacrosse. So the Zephyrs, they are battle tested. They weren't able to get away with the win, but I think coming in to this game versus the Pioneers, this is a great opportunity to show what you're made of.
So here's Jane Dimitri as the Zephyrs on a quick fast break. Had that chance snuffed out as Samantha Burns unable to field a ground ball. Can be taken here all the way again by McKenna Cunnington. Cunnington to the high slot, she scores! Top shelf for McKenna Cunnington, and it's a 4-2 ball game.
That was a great shot, just a little bit of movement in front of the net. Not a whole lot, but it was just enough to rip that one top side, cut the deficit in half.
We talked to Earnhardt, as you take a look up here, those goals feel massive. But as soon as you get down there, it's such a small look here, and this is just a beautiful run by Cunnington. And she stays true to her corner, follows through with the shot. That's a really nice play. It's tough to feed those corners, because sometimes that mental game just gets in your head.
Yep, and we saw there as Cunnington cut towards the net, the Pioneer defender didn't close in from the far side and allowed Cunnington to have an open opportunity, and she capitalized on it.
So Van Gilder and Cunnington again on the draw. 17:41 remaining here. First half, 4-2 Pioneers lead. Again, there's been a little bit of a back and forth between these two now. Again, for Mahtomedi and Hill Murray, it's not the rivalry on the east side that many people think of between these two teams, as we'll wait for the play here. Sinkowski working her way back and shoved out briefly before trying to spin it back out in front. Ground ball taken back again here by the Pioneers off to the far side as Delaney Fabian working with the ball now. Taken back away again on another ground ball. As the Zephyrs will maintain possession, sending it further up ahead where it can be refielded here by Greta Shimnowski. Working on that out-of-bounds line, the whistle blows, and she was forced out, so it'll be another free play for the Zephyrs. They'll keep play moving again. Working her way on in now, Jane Dimitri. Dimitri with numbers. Dimitri still working in. She scores! Jane Dimitri. It's a one-goal game with her second of the evening.
Dimitri, she goes short side here. That's where Ellis was, trying to hug the post, and just somehow gets that ball to go through, and the Zephyrs, that's 2 unanswered goals. The momentum from that timeout starting to pay off.
For Jane Dimitri, again, this is goal number 16 on the year for her. She averages 3.5 per game. A varsity starter since the 8th grade and had the second most assists. She can score herself pretty well too. And out of that, we'll have a timeout taken here by Hill Murray as Teresa Hansen, just like as what Ann Burns did not like what she was seeing out of her defense. So a timeout with 16:58 remaining, 4-3. The Mahtomedi Zephyrs trail over the Hill Murray Pioneers. And going back to that point we were talking about before that counterattack, a lot of people, when they see Hill Murray, they think of White Bear Lake. But Mahtomedi and Hill Murray across all sports, hockey, girls soccer especially, Mahtomedi and Hill Murray is quite the rivalry that I think should be getting a little more attention.
I 100% agree with that statement. I know we were talking about last week, the rivalry between Mahtomedi and White Bear Lake. That's a rivalry that should definitely get way more attention than it does right now.
And again, we'll take a look at the Metro East standings. This through the games so far this year. The Pioneers currently top the table, tied in points with 4 with the Henry Gentry cooperative team out there. The Mahtomedi Zephyrs trail both of those teams by 2 points. Starting north, again, a co-op, just like the boys team is by 2 points as well. Hastings and Simley trail without a point so far. Both of those teams winless in their outing so far this year, but it'll be Hill Murray and Henry Sibley Gentry, and Mahtomedi can stay in there too, as they're showing tonight here. They got behind early, but they showed some great resilience to come back and make this a one-goal game again.
And really, just looking at the last 10 games, even though Mahtomedi's only won 2 out of the last 10 games, they've been extremely close, so this one should go down to the wire.
We'll have Cunnington and Van Gilder on the draw again. Van Gilder shoves it back. It's in the face of Godbout, but she picks it back off the ground. Godbout working off to the left side. Good stick pressure there by Cunnington. Forces her back on a ground ball. Scooped up once again by Cunnington. Ellie Donovan cutting back, looking for an outlet, is able to find it here in Tara Skillings. Into the attacking third, over the restraining line. A ground ball gotten to here by Samantha Burns. Burns puts it down low for Allison Wilkie. Good save by the goaltender, Sutton Ellis. There's a ball again on the ground in the stick of Ellis, then loose on a Stick check there, goes out of bounds. Possession held here by the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, and a really good challenge there on that play by Sutton Ellis.
It was a good little flip pass inside, and just she met the shot as soon as it was coming off the cross and deflected it wide.
So possession again here from Mahtomedi off to the far side. Wilkie back again here on a little runner now, working her way on in. Ellie Donovan with possession. She'll work it around the outside part of the net. Here's Donovan again. Goes back off to the far side once again where it can be reset. Looking for a feed out in front, but scooped up here by the Pioneers as they'll start the rush back out the other way. Here's Van Gilder with a head of steam and some speed and numbers back on the counterattack for the Pioneers. Lorelei Van Gilder working for possession now, waiting her way on in. Tries to turn on a shot there, but Tara Skillings denies. The senior committed to Marquette. Sinkowski still with possession, fake the flip to Godbout. She'll hold it back again here to the near side. 15:22 remaining here first half. 4-3 Pioneers lead. 3 goals by Lorelei Van Gilder, pacing the Pioneer offense so far. 2 by Jane Dimitri on the other side for the Zephyrs. On the ground again, Sinkowski trying to work around the defense where Mahtomedi set up very well in this box. Screen set by Godbout. Sinkowski trying to work her way on in, but again Skillings with a great challenge. Sinkowski still with possession here, not moving the ball at all, now does to Van Gilder. Van Gilder trying to back her way in, able to, ooh, wow! Lorelei Van Gilder, beautiful shot through traffic, and it's a 2-goal lead again for the Pioneers.
And if there's ever a term to say to force a goal to go through, that was one there. She bulldozed her way through the double team. And I was going to mention the Zephyrs have done a much better job at double teaming on the perimeter on their defense. But Van Gilder, I mean, she's not fazed by it.
No. And you feel bad for Laura Rourke because that stick pressure was there first. Pretty good positioning too, but then that constant movement by Van Gilder forcing her back was just a great way to win that face-off and win the point for the Pioneers. It's another draw here, as we'll have Cunnington opposed here by Kate Kangas on the whistle. Flip back into the air, possession in favor of Cunnington. Cunnington will cut it back here as the clock winds now inside 15 minutes remaining first half. Burns into the attacking third pass, the restraining line. It can be held in again here by Mahtomedi. Burns, nice little stick check, working her way on in. Whistle blows, and I think we'll have the first free position of the day for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs.
So I'm not too sure what the infraction is on this one. Nevertheless, free play for the Zephyrs.
So here's Samantha Burns with the free position for Mahtomedi. Again, their first of the game. Working her way on in, nice little deke, and scoops it on the ground, she scores. Samantha Burns, the senior, pots one for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. It's a 1-goal game.
And Burns, she looked like she was gonna go short side here, then she cut to the right and shot across the body, back to the left. And for Ellis, there's only so much movement you can do in a split second.
So that'll be goal number 13 on the season for Sam Burns. And I guess, Earnhardt, we've seen it a couple of times now, the free positions for both of these teams tonight. We both come from a hockey background. That's where we recognize if we were on, of course, the ice, we'd be doing one thing. Let's say you're taking a free position here. What's your game plan? As you have basically an unbothered free look at a goaltender.
Well, what my first thinking is this my first attempt at a free play?
Mm-hmm.
Because then I would do something different. Rather it be my second or third, I would have to do something different to keep the goaltender on their toes.
So possession here for Mahtomedi off the draw. It's a 1-goal game now, 5-4, Pioneers lead. Possession back again off to the far side as it'll be held in once again by our player to watch, Jane Dimitri, with a pair of goals tonight. Dimitri evades the defense, trying to work her way back on in, but is denied by the stick there of Delaney McGrath. Cut back again is McKenna Cunnington. Possession once more, Ellie Donovan. Here's Donovan working off to the right-hand side. She'll try to go laterally to the goal line. Still working her way on in with the cradle. Donovan navigating the offense, switches with Jane Dimitri down low. Dimitri has the ball now. Dimitri still looking for a runner, somebody to create some traffic out in front for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, so she'll take it herself. Dimitri tried a shot high. It goes off of the stick, out of bounds of Ellie Donovan, but by the lacrosse rule, will stay in possession for the Zephyrs.
And Dimitri took a hit after the shot. I have to see if that'll affect her any little bit here. Doesn't seem so.
Good save made by the goaltender Sutton Ellis on a great chance out in front. It's coming down on a streak, Greta Shimnowski. And that's what I was looking for more from the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, that streak down into traffic. First time they get it, Sutton Ellis was ready for it. Now on the counterattack, back the other way, Emmy Senkowski. Senkowski denied back out to the outside on a good defensive play and read there by one of the Zephyrs as it goes back again now. Here's Godbout with a goal already tonight, forced back by Skillings, picks back up off the ground ball. Kangas looking back here again for Senkowski. Senkowski again came into play today with 9th in girls lacrosse in the state of Minnesota for goals on the season. She's added to that already. No, she has not added that already tonight. Still to be on the scorebook for the Hill Murray Pioneers tonight. Back down and low, all the way back to the far side, Godbout. Godbout will keep it here, working around the defense of McKenna Cunnington. Still with possession now, tries to go in front and just handcuffed on that back second chance as a ground ball can be scooped back up here, evading pressure, Evie Chigelski. And now possession again by the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, but a real good possession over the restraining line for the Hill Murray Pioneers.
It's a great possession by the Pioneers. Something I've noticed with the Pioneer offense is they like to do cuts horizontally in front of the net. Rather with the Zephyrs, they do cuts going straight at the net.
Great save by a number of the Pioneers back defensively. As looking in there was Jane Dimitri with a good defensive run into the box, but Olivia Mertes with a great save as the ball out of bounds. Possession here for the Zephyrs. And the parents here, and we have our press box door closed, but the parents here loving the effort by their Zephyrs. So Dimitri infields further here once again for Alicia Gosser. Gosser back into the top of the slot. Will go once again for Cunnington as the Zephyrs will give the Pioneers time in front. Ooh, great delivered check there, but we'll get a free position out of it. As if this was the boys' game, that would have been perfect. But Kate Kangas there just a little bit too early. This will be another free position for, and the card has come up for Kate Kangas, the sophomore midfielder. And so a free position here for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. It'll be Shimnowski to take it. 10:57 remaining. Zephyrs trail by 1. Shimnowski waiting for approval. And now on the runner. Shimnowski tries to go high, but scooped up. Good save by the goaltender for the Pioneers, Sutton Ellis, and they'll start the counterattack. Be scooped up again here by the Pioneers as they'll look to reset. Back on the other side, Joel Heinz. Further up ahead now, Van Gilder. Senkowski will regain the restraining line back on the attacking third for the Pioneers as Senkowski tries to go in front, but a good challenge there. Effective play by Evie Chigelski as the ball out of bounds. Will have a free position back the other way.
And once again, we're going back and forth with these free positions. It's really where I think these teams are kind of making their money here with goal-wise. And as both teams have shown with their stats coming into this game, they're both offensively effective. And this is where they win games.
So faking it on the shot, an odd play as Olivia Katz on the free position. Tried to go for the pass, but then was taken away by the Zephyrs, and now on the counterattack. Quickly back on in, Tara Skillings. Skillings trying to work around, trying the backhand, instead goes low for Allison Wilkie to restart the play. 9:49 remaining here as the pass out in front for Ellie Donovan is knocked down, can be scooped up again by Van Gilder, who's just, we've called her name so many times tonight, but what a threat on both sides of the ball for the Hill Murray Pioneers.
Really what we would call in hockey a 200-foot player, and I don't know my dimensions here on a lacrosse field, but she's been everywhere.
So here come the Pioneers back again on the counterattack. Trying to feed it back further up ahead now for Samantha Young. Young will try to go back out in front, but instead forced back out again by Schwieters to reset. Senkowski again as the wind continues to blow in from just behind the Zephyr net here in the first half. So these Pioneer players are looking into the wind. And of course, without much of a visor or anything, just the protective eyewear from the stick, affecting perhaps the vision. And of course, the Zephyrs will have to contend with that in the second half. And so now coming back on Kangas' return from the yellow card and the penalty issued there. And so the Pioneers will retain possession here on the attacking line. On a runner. Trying to work on in. Van Gilder will cut it back. Van Gilder trying to work around Shimnowski back on the far side. Instead cuts it back once more for Senkowski here to reset. And Senkowski, we haven't put her name on the score sheet yet, but still, the ball movement positioning of Senkowski has been excellent. If she doesn't have a college offer yet, she certainly should soon.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. She's not one of the scoring players on the team, but she sets everything up.
All the way back here, Katz tried to feed the ball back for one of the Pioneers, and again Van Gilder went a little bit too far off to the far side, was looking for Young, instead scooped up by Senkowski. Senkowski on a great defensive play by Skillings, forces her back out. Good stick there by Tara Skillings, and possession again scooped up on the recovery by the Pioneers. So work back in, Senkowski has it, then lost it. She'll pick it back up again on the ground ball. So Senkowski, as the Pioneers look to try to navigate this offense around the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, who again in that first 5 minutes or so of this first half didn't look great defensively, but they've made a number of good adjustments against some very tough shooters for the Pioneers.
Yep, something I've noticed is they've started to double team around the perimeter and just shut the Pioneers down. But it's when the ball gets behind the net into where the end zone is, that's where the Mahtomedi Zephyr defense struggles.
Here's Van Gilder again. Van Gilder trying to work around some pretty good defense by Cunnington, providing some assistance there. Chigelski back down and low, working her way on in. Tried a shot, went off the glove. I shouldn't say glove, the stick there of the goaltender. And goes back out of bounds. Possession here again for the Pioneers. Back down and low once more, where the Pioneers will reset back to the top of the arc. And they'll go back again on the far side. Good fake there by Van Gilder. Or back on in, or that's not Van Gilder. Rather, that's Kate Kangas. Here to the near side. Once again, Delaney McGrath. All the way back further now for Senkowski. Senkowski will have to go against Rorich. Forced off briefly and then handcuffed on the shot. Good defensive closeout by these Mahtomedi Zephyrs as Boxmeyer gets to the rebound, and she'll carry it back further up ahead now for McKenna Cunnington. And for the Hill Murray Pioneers, with so much offensive possession time there, to not come away with a goal has to be frustrating.
I haven't really been keeping track of the time, but the Pioneers' offense is completely stagnated.
And it results in a goal by Samantha Burns, and we're tied at 5.
Burns, that's such a big goal to tie the game. I want to say that's the third or fourth unanswered by the Zephyrs, and since that early timeout that the Zephyrs took, it has, I would say, fully paid off.
Well, and that's that momentum swing you can do, and for Burns here, this is a great shot. This is a great shot here by Sam Burns, as on that counter attack, she's just able to take it back up. And the one thing, Earnhardt, and I don't know if you've noticed this too, the one thing that's really worked for the Zephyrs on those counter attacks is the odd man rushes, because you have all those Pioneers that are just clustered in so tight, and then they try to start the breakout and there's nothing there.
And really, look at all the space she has to work with. She cuts it back across the defender and has more space to shoot, and she ties the game.
So Kangas on the draw here with Cunnington, is knocked high into the air, scooped up there briefly by Donovan before it's knocked back up into the air, and then taken once more by Van Gilder. So Van Gilder, who leads all Zephyr scorers so far tonight, got here for Senkowski. Pushed down and low, is looking in front for Kangas. Ball battled around inside that crease there before it comes back out, slashed out back to the ground, and then recovered once more by the Pioneers and Olivia Godbout. So here's Godbout, working her way back on in, denied briefly by Dimitri, shoves her back to the left side. Good sliding save made there by the goaltender. Boxmeyer goes out of bounds, and the Pioneers will hold possession here. So 5:30 remaining in the first half, all tied at 5. Leading scorers, Lorelei Van Gilder has 4 for the Pioneers, and Jane Dimitri and Samantha Burns both with 2 for the Zephyrs. Going back on in, Senkowski tried to field the pass there. The whistle blows, and this will be another free position here for the Hill Murray Pioneers.
And I think for the Pioneers, you have to score on this free play right here, because the field is completely tilted the other way. Even though you have had all the offensive pressure in the world, you're not able to score.
So this is one of those free positions here where it's more of a free play, not a free position, where the defense can set up inside. And so Van Gilder will play it, goes to Senkowski as the play will resume. All the way back again here for Olivia Godbout, who has the other Pioneer goal tonight. Back down and low, denied briefly. Kangas puts it on the ground where a defensively astute Cunnington can pick it back up. The whistle will blow. Free position and possession for the Zephyrs. Now we'll have another whistle here. I'll wait for everybody to get set. That's another one of the weird things on that delayed play calls. Everybody has to go back to where they were. So the Zephyrs now with possession again. Here's Tara Skillings. We'll reset it back. Try to put it on the ground ball. Great recovery, though, with the assistance of Cunnington, as the ball just mishandled there by Jagielski off to the far side. 4:08 remaining here, first half. All tied at 5, as the Zephyrs scored the first 2. And it was a 5-2. It was 1-1. That's right. Thanks, Ernie. As it was a 5-2 ball game, 3 unanswered for the Zephyrs. Now Burns again. She scores, and the Zephyrs take a lead for the first time tonight.
And after a slow start by the Zephyrs, Burns has really picked up the pace and has led the Zephyrs to get their first lead of the game.
Well, again, we talked about it after that 5th goal. It's a counterattack for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs that has resulted in their last non-free position goals. As you see here, just that little soft pass into an uncovered Burns, who skips it low 5-hole. And again, when you have that one-on-one look, you don't have the pads to be able to drop down. That's just a tough save for any goaltender to make, as we've talked about before. But the Zephyrs taking a 1-goal lead and have really been not necessarily the better of teams, because the Pioneers have had more possession time on their side of the restraining line. The Zephyrs have just finished off more of the chances.
But can you really say the Pioneers are the better team just because they've had more offensive pressure? You see, it seems like they're way too focused on offense right now because there's so many counterattacks by the Zephyrs. And 9 times out of 10, the Pioneers have been burned, literally.
Donovan lost the handle on the stick. Can be recovered again here by the Pioneers as they'll go back to the far side. Godbot will cut it back. Can be reset again here as Hill Murray will maintain possession here. Kate Kangas for Senkowski. Senkowski looking for assistance, will cut it back to the middle. Skillings able to deny her, force a ground ball, can be fielded once again. And I think you're right there, Earnhardt. It's just the offense has been focused on the defensive recovery. Is now again, here's another chance back the other way, but a good pressure there to force the ball out of bounds to let the team set back up. And in fact, it'll be Pioneer possession. Excellent play on that far side by the Pioneers. Now on the counter. Back the other way, here's Van Gilder into the attacking third over the restraining line. Lorelei Van Gilder with 4 on the night, forced out by Skillings, working her way in. Van Gilder with patience. She'll go back, the whistle will blow, and this will be a free position here for the Pioneers.
And Van Gilder, once again, she's trying to force her way through that double team. She's done it once already tonight.
So Van Gilder's third look on a free position. She scores like she did the first time. 5-hole skip shot, and we're all tied at 6 again.
Those skip shots, bounce shots, whatever you want to call them, they are so lethal within lacrosse. It's something you can't really do in hockey, but really here in lacrosse, I'd say it's almost the more viable shot.
Well, it's odd too, because you take a look at this free play, and that's her first instinct, was to go high, and you saw the goaltender, Boxmeyer, trying to play the hop, thinking it would come up on her, but no, it just skipped right past her for the goal. So Van Gilder now, 5 goals on the night, leading the Hill Murray Pioneers, and we are all tied once again at 6 goals apiece. 2:28 remaining here, first half. Earnhardt Jaworski, you can find him on Twitter at Turney Ernie. With myself, Alex Westhead, you can find me on Twitter by that same name. So here's Van Gilder and Cunnington on the draw. As again, both teams looking to go into halftime with a lead and with possession. As the ball off the faceoff can be taken here by Van Gilder, it'll be reset. Good cradling by the senior for the Pioneers as she'll get around Ellie Donovan, starting another rush back into the attacking zone over the restraining line. Good play there, and another skip shot goes past out of bounds, reach for it. This will be Zephyr possession as a stick of Boxmeyer and a good awareness recovery, able to get closest to the ball out of bounds.
And I think that last goal for the Pioneers is really going to stop the bleeding that they had off really defensively. So going into the half, I think this will help them out a lot more.
And again, Lorelei Van Gilder doing what she does best. It's another free position for the Pioneers.
Now we'll have to see if she goes for a skip shot this time or if she'll change it up.
So Van Gilder will wait for the official's whistle. Here we go. Van Gilder tries a skip shot. This time it did bounce too high. Out of bounds, Pioneers possession though. And you're right, Earnhardt, she tried that skip shot, but just a little bit too short on the ground as it skipped right over the top of the goal. And now one of the Pioneers will have to go all the way over to the track to get the ball that is closest, is now coming back into the field of play with the ball after having to go all the way back out. And now play again can resume. Here again, Sinkowski. A minute 23, and the clock is stopped. There we go. As Sinkowski able to play it again. Sinkowski. As the Pioneers go back again for Olivia Godbout. Again, Godbout, the one other goal not scored by the senior Lorelei Van Gilder so far here through the first 25 minutes of play. Godbout goes back again here for Van Gilder, trying to work inside of that crease, and a good read defensively by Evie Chegelski as possession can be taken back the other way. Chegelski bothered though, whistle will blow, and a free play for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Everybody has to stop and get set, and we'll reset and we'll start it again. Chegelski for Cunnington, given some pressure there defensively by Van Gilder. Now Ellie Donovan with possession back again. Sam Burns with both of the last 2 goals for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Again, Burns with 3, Dimitri with 2 for Mahtomedi. Ellie Donovan, 30 seconds remaining here, first half. Donovan working just outside that restricted area, goes all the way back again for Jane Dimitri off to the far side. Dimitri trying to shove her way through traffic. A little bit of a double team there in front. Beautiful play by McKenna Cunnington, taking the pass from Jane Dimitri, and the Zephyrs retake the 1-goal lead.
And that was a great pass by Dimitri. It wasn't a direct pass like chest to chest. It was more of a, really a rainbow, you could say. It went over 1 or 2 defenders, and by the time player had the ball was in the back of the net.
Well, I think the other thing too is when you see that pass, you expect it to be crisp, you expect it to be hard. So when you see that arc, like we'll take a look at it here, just a delicate arc, and again you see, I think where Olivia Mertes was a little faked out by it, not expecting that arcing shot, or pass even, to get on goal. So 14.5 seconds remaining here in this first half. We've had a total of 3 lead changes. The Pioneers have led by as many as 3. The Zephyrs have only led by as many as 1 here in the early going. As off the face-off can be scooped up here by Godbout with 10 seconds remaining if they get back over the other side of the restraining line. Instead, Shield defer can be taken again here by Kangas. Kangas will wind out the clock, will reset again back to the far side. The whistle will blow, the horn will sound, and after a first 25 minutes of play, Earnhardt, the first 5 minutes dominated by the Hill Murray Pioneers on both sides of the ball, but the Mahtomedi Zephyrs took a great timeout and have responded very well.
After the timeout, they've made better adjustments throughout the game, and that's what has given them the 1-goal lead.
7-6, the Mahtomedi Zephyrs lead over the Hill Murray Pioneers here at the half. We'll be back to recap the first half in just a few moments here for your home for Mahtomedi Zephyr Girls Lacrosse.
When we walk, when we reach, when we play, we're moving through life. But an estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily amount of physical activity. It's time to move and keep moving, America. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy.
When I left the military, I was excited for a fresh start, but civilian life has been harder than I thought it would be. Figuring out a new career while also being a good mom, wife, and friend. Some days I'm barely keeping my head above water. Go to your room! To get back to enjoying life again, I needed to get help. Discover how other women veterans like me have learned to thrive after military service by taking care of themselves and their mental health. Visit maketheconnection.net/womenveterans.
COVID-19 has changed how we express our faith and gather to worship.
We all want to get back to how we pray,
how we congregate, how we lift our voices in praise. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to spreading the word without spreading concern.
Before we can safely come together, we need the facts.
As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it?
Is it safe?
Should I wait?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. His real name is Darion, and we call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's affection, attention, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. Just do it from the right place. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job. I'll say my kid's pretty dope.
Today, as airports, stores, and streets sit empty, it's easy to feel grounded, to feel distant. But at Miracle Flights, we've been providing the cure for distance since 1985, and we've learned something from the thousands we've helped along the way. We've learned that people are resilient, that families are strong, that setbacks today become triumphs tomorrow. We've learned that we rise by lifting others, and that love conquers distance every time. Hang in there. We'll soar again soon.
My son Andrew was always a joy to be around. I always taught him to be accepting of other people. That's why when Andrew was suddenly fired from his teaching job for being gay, my heart just broke. As a parent, how do you prepare your child for something like that? I hope we get to a place where people will be treated with respect, equality, and love.
After the first 5 minutes of domination by the Hill Murray Pioneers, an astute timeout by Ann Burns, and a response by the Zephyrs as Mahtomedi leads the Pioneers at the half by a score of 7-6. With Earnhardt Jaworski, I am Alex Weston, and Earnhardt, the big thing that we talked about while we were on break there just a little bit, the attacking possession time has been there for the Pioneers. What has not been there for Hill Murray is the defense and the rush and the counterattack.
Yes, and really, it was the adjustments made during the early timeout by the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Whatever was said in that short few minutes completely changed the defense. And when we look at the screen here, they got the little whiteboard drawn up, trying to change some stuff there on the offense. And I know before the show we talked about players to watch, and I wanted to bring up the supporting staff. And really, it's been a supporting staff show, with Burns getting a bunch of goals, same with Van Gilder as well. So
we'll take a look at our goal scoring here. It's been for Lorelei Van Gilder, her night, as Olivia Godbout got a goal as well. The early minutes for the Hill Murray Pioneers were sent on a number of skip shots. As here's another one as the Zephyrs started to get the counterattack. Like we mentioned, off that timeout, Jane Dimitri with the pairs. Here's another skip shot by Van Gilder. And again, so confident on those free positions. But Samantha Burns from Mahtomedi has really impressed with her ability to get behind the defense and put shots on goal.
And it was a couple times where she was just left completely unaccounted for. And the Pioneers, they didn't pick her up, and she burned them, as if I'm going to make a pun.
And again, you see there on the counterattack too, it's the point that we're bringing home here really, where just a great effort again here by Lorelei Van Gilder to put it on home. But it's those individual efforts and that collapse around the crease that's really been costing the Pioneers. Because as we've mentioned before, we talked about on break, when everybody collapses and you have 6 players within 10, 15 yards of the goal, the Zephyrs have been picking up their heads, keeping their heads up, and have immediately started that counterattack, and it leads to goals like that one by Sam Burns.
Yep, and really for the Zephyrs defense, they've worked more as a unit. They're more aware of their positioning, their teammates' positioning, and where the ball is. Rather with the Pioneers, it's not all there right now.
On the other side of the back line as well for the Zephyrs, that adjustment out of that timeout, the closeouts have been very, very strong, and even though Lorelei Van Gilder's getting the chances that she'll get over the course of the game, defensively, there's not been much else that the Zephyrs have gone and given up since that first 5 minutes.
It was really the Pioneers came out guns blazing at the start of the game. They got off to a quick, I think, 2-goal lead, and then the Zephyrs that kept chipping away throughout the first half. Here they are with a 7-6 lead.
We'll be back for the start of the second half in just a few moments. 7-6 Zephyrs lead after 25 minutes of play here on your home for Mahtomedi Zephyr Girls Lacrosse.
Hi, I'm Marcus Scribner. The way we treat others affects us all, and that includes the way we treat animals. Cruel treatment of animals overseas led to the pandemic crisis, killing 1 million people worldwide. Environmental destruction, pollution, and poaching have killed endangered wild species. Our world today is a poorer place for people to live and inhumane for both people and animals. To fight back, American Humane created a 10-point plan to help animals, people, and the world we share. From ending the dog and cat meat trade to universal humane standards for farms, zoos, entertainment, and animal transport. Together we can make a difference. Join the fight for our animal friends. Go to AmericanHumane.org today and sign our new deal for animals. For a kinder, safer, and healthier world for all of us.
Well, for the sake of the weather, the officials have started to resume the second half a little bit earlier than what we were expecting, and underway, here we go. As back here at George Smith Field and from the Al Sansgard press box, after the first 25 minutes of play, started the second half here with the Zephyrs leading by a goal over the Hill Murray Pioneers. With Earnhardt Jaworski, I am Alex Wested, as the Pioneers will maintain possession. Again, we talked early, Earnhardt, about the weather here in the early going, as the Pioneers will have a possession back here for Senkowski. We talked again about how the role that the impact the weather would have. The wind seems to have slowed down just enough to not really have an impact, as there is a goal right off the draw. It was right close to the line, and you see the goaltender Boxmeyer come out to have a conversation with the official. This crosses the line, I believe, and ties the game at 7 apiece.
I think she got the initial save, and then I believe she dropped it, and it just kind of trickled through. We'll take a look here.
This is Van Gilder down and low for Godbout, and it looks, it does, wow. That's a tough break. So Olivia Godbout with her second of the night for the freshman, and that's such a tough play. That's a tough break for the Zephyr goaltender Boxmeyer, because you think you have it there in between. I think that's a 7-hole, and it just leaks through you, and there's nothing really you can do about that. So back on the counterattack, the Zephyrs will regain possession back again here. Jane Dimitri with 2 goals on the night for the Zephyrs. Can be gotten to again here for Cunnington. Great defense closed out by the Pioneers. As a wonderful stick play made by one of the Pioneers. This is a counterattack back the other way now. Here's Van Gilder again. Back into the attacking half over the restraining line with a ton of space. Florvine Van Gilder, skip shot, she scores. 6 goals on the night for the senior Van Gilder, and the Pioneers retake the lead.
And just like that, and just like what we saw at the start of the game, it's that low side right below the knee where the Pioneers and really Van Gilder have been going.
So for the Pioneers, 2 goals in 1 minute and 5 seconds, and this is part of the reason why. Look at all that space that Van Gilder has, and where the Zephyrs had an effective closeout defensively in the first half, there was no closeout there.
And it's really kind of like the teams have swapped roles, where the Pioneers are now counterattacking and the Zephyrs, they don't have numbers back.
So I have another face-off here as the Zephyrs have conceded 2 goals here in the first minute, and the Pioneers have regained a 1-goal lead. This will be the 4th lead change of the game so far, as we're just here early stages of half number 2. We'll have Van Gilder and Cunnington on the draw, as we'll wait for the resumption of play. And the ball knocked high into the air. Possession back onto the ground, can be scooped up there. Good stick play made by the Pioneers as they'll carry again back into the attacking half. We fielded along here further. Another chance in the counter. Back again the other way. Good close out there by Jane Dimitri. No, not Jane Dimitri. Elena Schwieters. As it goes back again. Good close out there by Skillings, who picks up the loose ball. Can be played once again here. Goes back to Boxmeyer to restart the counterattack here for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Here's Boxmeyer. That's one of the things we don't really see in lacrosse too much, is goaltenders coming out of their position to make plays on the ball. But again, it's good to see the goaltenders get involved in the offense.
Yep, the goaltenders, I mean, they're kind of, when the ball's that far back, they're really the key piece to start going the other way.
So Shimnowski trying to pass that one further up ahead into the feet there of Adalia Falvey. And we're starting to roll a little bit into the JV roster here for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Once again, ball on the ground. All the way back to the far side. Burns, whistle blows. Advantage for the Zephyrs. We'll wait for everybody to get possession. Play continues. Here's Burns now with 3 goals, the last 3 goals for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs in the first half. As in the early going here in half number 2, the Pioneers have retaken a 1-goal lead. Burns again, trying to work past Martez. A couple of good stick checks there by the Pioneers. Deny Burns as it goes back again. Trying to scoop it up there is Cunnington, now back on the counterattack. Good closeout and a good recovery by the Hill Murray Pioneers. Schwieters back to get to it on her side of the half-field line. To be taken again here by the senior, Elena Schwieters. Into the attacking third now. Chance here for Alicia Gosser. Gosser will cut it back, going back down and low again for Shimnowski. Shimnowski, an odd play there, as I thought we were going to get some sort of resistance provided there by Olivia Godbout, but instead the Zephyrs maintain possession. Gosser working just outside of the crease. Have to cut it back, going interior, was looking, and a skip shot, easy save made by the goaltender Sutton Ellis. And an odd play there on both sides, as now a turnover here creates another chance for Ellie Donovan. Back down and low again, looking again for a beautiful shot in the goal by Jane Dimitri, as a defensive breakdown by the Pioneers on a turnover just out of the goaltender's stick. And all of a sudden, we're tied again at 8.
Yeah, Sutton Ellis, she tried to force the issue on that clear. Her midfielder wasn't ready for it. And for Dimitri, one-on-one scenario, cuts opposite direction of the defender and just goes topside.
Well, and for Dimitri, again, the leading scorer for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs coming into play today, has 3 already, and that ties her for the team lead with Samantha Burns, who also has 3. We talked about last week when we covered the boys game, senior leadership for these teams that haven't played in 2 years, certainly paramount. And we've seen it on both sides tonight for both of these teams, with Lorelei Van Gilder for the Pioneers, and then Burns and Dimitri certainly as well. Tara Skillings defensively for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. On the draw, battled high into the air, briefly gotten to by Donovan before Godbout able to take that turnover and carry it back again into the attacking third. Godbout to the near side, looking again for Sinkowski. Sinkowski goes back down the low again for Van Gilder. Van Gilder leads all Pioneers, scores with 6. Olivia Godbout has the other 2. Denied briefly by Skillings before being forced back out. Sinkowski with possession laterally to the goal line. Looking to start a move, the whistle blows, and a blocking foul is called on the Pioneers, so possession for Mahtomedi. It wasn't much of a block there, but it was enough for the official to blow the whistle and call a violation for the Pioneers. Now play resumes. All the way back again to the far side. McKenna Cunnington with a pair of goals on the night for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Donovan tries to carry around Godbout, got further back ahead in the turnover. Great read by Kangas. Put back down the low again, Sinkowski. And Sinkowski tries to go through the middle to Kangas, but instead it's picked off, taken back the other way. Skillings trying to race for the ball there, bothered briefly by Sinkowski. Great body play there by Lorelei Van Gilder as it goes back in now again here on a good read here by Olivia Katz. For Van Gilder, once again at the point, Van Gilder working down and low, tried to feed Kangas down and low, but unable to handle that sharp pass by Van Gilder. Sinkowski again working behind the net. Trying to work around Boxmeyer here. 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Bounce back through the other way. Donovan able to scoop it up briefly, getting back to the ball, and she'll carry it back the other way once again. So again for the Pioneers, good offensive chances, but aside from the fast break goals, nothing to show for it quite yet.
Yeah, the Zephyr defense has been stalwart again here early in the second half.
Has tripped up on the play. We may get a free position out of this. As in just a little bit early on the contact there and the challenge, I believe was Kate Kangas. So it'll be a free position here now and a chance for Greta Shimnowski. For the senior, working on in, tries high, but an easy save by Sutton Ellis right into the crosses, catching mitt. And the play can be resumed here for the Hill Murray Pioneers back the other way. Sinkowski regaining the midfield line. And she'll work here with numbers quickly on the counter attack. Sinkowski still with possession, will cut it back and allow her offense a chance to set up. Van Gilder. Van Gilder working back down low for Godbout, tries a shot, good! Smothering save by Olivia Boxmeyer, swinging the stick, forcing the ball out of bounds.
The Pioneers are really trying to get the shooter into the high slot there. But again, so many times tonight, the Zephyr defense just closes out.
So Mahtomedi will retake possession here back the other way. Skillings sent further up ahead. Shimnowski lost the handle on it. A good play by Kangas. Whistle blows, an advantage again for the Pioneers. So here's Shimnowski again. Shimnowski trying to avoid Kangas on the forechecking pressure there. Delivered, forces a ground ball back the other way. Still trying to get it back as it's in the feet there of Sam Beaver. Still picked up now. Beaver able to recover and carry it back the other way as that's Ella Top rather. Number 20, not number 26. Top further up ahead. There's a ball taken away here on a great read by Sam Burns. Down low, Jane Dimitri working back into the top of the slot, working her way back on in. Laterally shot wide, right out of bounds. And the official will rule possession here for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. It was a pretty good read there too by Ella Top, but then just coughed up the ball a little too early.
Yeah, it was a little dangerous there as Dimitri was using almost all three defenders that were back as a giant screen. Shot got deflected wide. And we're still tied at 8.
Possession again here for Mahtomedi. As we're all tied at 8, 17:33 remaining here in the second half. And we've had 4 lead changes so far. Hill Murray opened up the scoring. The teams have been basically back and forth since that point. And that's how we are now, all tied at 8. Wilkie working behind her net, goes here to the near side again for Greta Shimnowski. Shimnowski will go back again. Here's Jane Dimitri. Dimitri trying to work around some good defense there by Kangas. Lost the ball. Great play by Kate Kangas for the Pioneers, forcing a turnover. The ball can be scooped up again. Here they'll go behind the net, and Sutton Ellis will come on out to play it and restart the counter attack here for the Hill Murray Pioneers. Ellis again evading the forecheck there of Wilkie. Gotten to again further up ahead for the speedy Emmy Sinkowski. Sinkowski now trying to work past the defensive Shimnowski back into the attacking half. Shimnowski again on a ground ball. Great takeaway there by McKenna Cunnington for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs as we're going to have a whistle blow. And we may have another card come out here. Sinkowski will be sent off for a violation. Without much ado about nothing. As again, you see there Sinkowski putting on the near hand side. The card typically comes out there. I don't know that I saw it. But Sinkowski will have to wait to come back to resume the play. So 16:36 remaining here in the first half. All tied at second half, excuse me, all tied at 8. Now waiting still for play to resume. This is an odd play. I've never seen anything quite like this, where it's taken that long to restart play. Shimnowski now. Now the play has restarted. Shimnowski will try to work around the defense there of Delaney Fabian. Goes all the way back again here now, and another chance on a read here for Cunnington. Cunnington with a spinning shot, she scores. Great motion laterally left to right. And McKenna Cunnington's third of the night re-gives the Zephyrs a 1-goal lead.
So many times tonight we've seen the shooter shoot across their body, just put more movement on the ball, and you can see Sutton a little frustrated on this one.
Well, it's hard not to be frustrated. because, I mean, your defense is doing pretty well out in front of you. And just a great effort there by Cunnington. Just getting the goaltender moving. Doesn't matter what the sport is either. If you get the goaltender moving, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So facing off here, 16, 18 and counting remaining. Put it back on the ground, or can be fielded back again on the attacking side. And a good recovery here, this time by actually Sam Beaver. And she'll carry it back again off to the far side. Onto the right side away, maintaining possession are the Pioneers. We'll go back out of bounds. It'll be a holding foul that'll get called on the Pioneers, and so we'll have possession back again the other way. Or no, it will be. Appeared the official just pointed the wrong way. So back again with possession. Trying to go back down low. Great read again by McKenna Cunnington, who as a sophomore has been perfect on the reads tonight. All the way back here again, Cunnington. Going back to the near side here, Skillings. Further up ahead now for Shimnowski back into the attacking half. Now back over the restraining line here for Jane Dimitri. Dimitri with 3 goals on the night for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, and make it 4. Beautiful shot by Jane Dimitri, and the Zephyrs have their largest lead of the night at 2 goals.
And again, it's the small turnovers by the Pioneers that have just snowballed to them suddenly being down by 2. And a game that seems to start really be opening up.
Again, you see here this counter-attack. It's a pretty good first defensive read made by Delaney Fabian, but then that second level of assistance from Olivia Mertez just not quite enough to be able to deny Jane Dimitri.
Yeah, she just didn't close out quick enough, get a second body in the way of the cross, really. And now for the Pioneers, you find yourself down by 2 about, you could say, midway through the second half. You got to find something here because you've been completely shut down on both sides of the ball.
And earlier in the game, Earnhardt, we talked about the rivalry between Mahtomedi and Hill Murray. It wouldn't be a surprise if we saw both of these teams play each other again, as thanks to Minnesota-Scores.net's QRF ranking, kind of similar to the pairwise in hockey or in professional women's football, the Massey ratings, that compares opponents' records based on teams and all sorts of math that's involved. Hill Murray currently number 5 in the state. They'd be number 1 in Section 4. Mahtomedi at number 12. You think a win tonight, if they're provided they're able to hold on, and there's still a lot of ball game left. If they're able to hold on, that's going to start bringing them up a little bit in that conversation.
Yes, it definitely brings Mahtomedi into the conversation a lot more, as it's always been said, to be the man, you have to beat the man, really. So for Mahtomedi, a win here would be huge, but like you said, we still have about 14 and a half to go.
Dimitri skips past the defensive Francesca Primoli and able to carry back possession again here in the attacking half. Dimitri, try to go back down low, is looking for Gosser, but goes all the way past out of bounds, and the Pioneers will catch a break there. That's something, too, that we haven't seen in that first half. It felt like the Pioneers were starting to get their breaks a little bit. And even here in the first minute and a half, 2 minutes here of the second half, the ball just hasn't been going in the Pioneers' way, really, in any regard.
And we talk a lot about in times in hockey where you just need you need some bounces to go your way. And here, the Pioneers just have not gotten any bounces in their favor. As we'll see if they can start something here.
So Olivia Mertez trying to avoid the pressure of Alicia Gosser. Gives it back to the goaltender again, Sutton Ellis. Near side here, Sinkowski. Sinkowski lost it on a handle, unable to cradle that ball. Great play by Samantha Burns to recover. Burns bothered from behind. It'll be a free play here for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. We'll have possession for Mahtomedi on a look from about 20 yards out. Burns, as the official says, good to go. Cunnington again. All the way back down to the far side, low for Gosser. Again, Jane Dimitri leads all Zephyr scorers with 4. Just 3 players have scored for Mahtomedi tonight. Dimitri with 4, Cunnington with 3, and Burns with 3. On the other side for the Pioneers, just 2 goal scorers. Lorelei Van Gilder and Olivia Godbout, as the Pioneers have been left scoreless for the past 10 minutes. Burns back down low again for Shimnowski, as the Zephyrs will maintain possession again. And of course, when you have that lead, the temptation becomes the Shimnowski trying to work her way back in, put down in the low, and a good recovery there by who else? I think that is Olivia Mertes, and a good defensive recovery by the Pioneers. Now back on the counterattack, Kate Kangas. Back again on the attacking side of the restraining line. Kangas Working back, we'll have to cut it back there again as the Pioneers will set up. And of course, if you're, Earnhardt, if you're in the position of being an advantage here and leading in a lacrosse game, how much time do you focus on just simply possessing?
I would say you try to possess as much as you can. Force the issue if it's there. Like if you have an open shooting opportunity, take it. Because if you can pile up those goals, the morale on the other team will begin to crumble. And at that point, if you've mentally won a game, you're gonna physically win the game as well.
Burns here with a look at the top of the slot, tries to go high, goes out of bounds. There's the official on the far side had a yellow piece of cloth in his hand. Not sure what that was about. Okay, we'll play on. And possession again here for Jane Dimitri. Dimitri trying to work around Lorelei Van Gilder. Will cut it all the way back, or can be gotten to again here by McKenna Cunnington. Sophomore with 3 goals on the night for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. 12-10 remaining here in the second half. Mahtomedi 10, Hill Murray 8. As the Pioneers led after trailing at the half 7-6. They led with 2 quick goals at the start of the half, but the Mahtomedi Zephyrs have responded with 3 straight. Back down and low, good save, dropping to the knees. Beautiful read by the goaltender Sutton Ellis, and a big save here late here in the second half. Sinkowski on the scoop. Will carry it back again the other way, trying to get it back into the attacking half, going further off to the far side now on a rush here again. And a good read by Samantha Young, but the whistle blows. And we'll see if we don't have another free position for the Pioneers.
And really, for the Pioneers in the second half, we saw them get those 2 quick counterattack goals, but since then it's really been shut down. As right there for Sinkowski, and it looked like she was going to have a free opportunity just to run straight towards the net, and then the whistle's going to call the play dead.
The clock continues to run here again, a running clock for girls lacrosse. Made mention before, I'd like a little more consistency between the rules of boys and girls lacrosse, especially in timing.
Yes.
Where in the boys game, the clock stops anytime the ball goes out of bounds or anytime there's a official needs to sort things out. As a chance now here low for Godbound, skips wide to the left. But that timing is just so different. Where yes, the girls game has more time, the 48 to 50, that 2 minutes difference, but I would like to see a stop clock because it just changes the game so much.
Or it's not like soccer where you will have extra time at the end of 90 minutes. And here, like right there when the ball ran out of bounds, that was a good 7-8 seconds gone away where the Pioneers weren't able to do anything.
Down and low for Godbout. Godbout with a spinning shot off the top of the cross and all the way back out. Good reach by the goaltender Boxmeyer to hold it just on the out-of-bounds line and then fanned on the clearing attempt. So a turnover that'll give the Zephyrs defensive zone coverage as the Pioneers catch again another break.
They've been catching a couple breaks here, but they're going to have to turn those breaks into scoring chances and those scoring chances into goals because they have been completely stagnated and shut down here.
Possession again for Hill Murray. Godbout with a shot wide to the right. And again, they're trying to get that spinning shot out and get the goaltender Boxmeyer moving, but the traffic in front of the goaltender Boxmeyer has proved that motion difficult here in the second half.
And something I'm really starting to notice with the Pioneers, they're gripping their crosses a little too tight. They're trying to force the issue a little too much. And I don't know how many timeouts each team gets, but for the Pioneers, I would expect one here soon if they don't.
More girls lacrosse coming up on Wednesday evening. Tartan and Simley at Tartan Stadium, North Tartan we should say, coming up on Wednesday. Of course, you can find that on all of our social media sites. Let us know where you're watching from and where you will be watching. Again, we'll have other games the rest of the way as the shot on goal, good save made by the goaltender Boxmeyer there. As again, we'll have White Lake Mahtomedi, the battle for the anchor coming up on Monday at South Campus on the boys' side. And the girls lacrosse again on the 21st of May, where Earnhardt will return for White Bear Lake and Tartan from South Campus on the 21st. Back on the ground, Sinkowski as play continues here with 8:45 remaining in the second half of play. Zephyrs lead by 2. Again, in the last 4 matchups, the 2 teams have split, but the last 10 to go all the way back further, Hill Murray has won 8 of 10 against the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Sinkowski again on the feed from Samantha Young. Sinkowski will cut it back. Good stick position there by Shimnowski, clogging the lane, and she'll take another turnover back the other way. Whistle blows, foul is called, play resumes. Burns back again over the half-court line, denied briefly On a stick check there by Kangas before regaining possession here. Now again, Jane Dimitri lost the handle on a great defensive recovery by Francesca Primoli. And we've talked about the Hill Murray Pioneers defensive core here. To start an 8th grader on defense for Hill Murray, Francesca Primoli, she's had some struggles so far in this one, but she's made a number of plays well beyond her years as an 8th grader.
And really, I mean, it's proven why she's the only 8th grader on the team, or one of 2, I believe. And so it proves that they have something that can contribute to the varsity level.
Burns off the pass from Dimitri here. 7:35 remaining. 2-goal lead for the Zephyrs. Ellie Donovan working back down and low as the Zephyrs deliberate with their time here, leading by 2. Cunnington still with possession here, looking for some sort of an outlet. Goes to Wilkie back on the left side wing. Wilkie fakes out the defender, tries to rush in, instead goes back to conserve more time for Cunnington. The whistle blows, and I wonder if we're going to get a free possession here. As coming to the near side, Samantha Young is heading towards the bench, and we'll have a free position here, I think, for Mahtomedi. Or it'll just be a free play, it looks like, from where that ball is. As again, the winds have started to pick back up again, blowing harshly in from that far corner of your screen. As Wilkie again waits for the official to make sure that everybody's positioned where they need to be. And now we'll resume. Back down low, McKenna Cunnington. Cunnington still looking for an outlet pass. Still plenty of time here for the Pioneers to pull even. Gosser put back down low looking for Burns. Burns closed out effectively by Mertez for the Pioneers. Ball on the ground into the sticks there of Godbout, and then recovered beautifully by Lorelei Van Gilder for the Pioneers. Van Gilder to cut it back. Evading pressure here, delivered by Jane Dimitri. Now double teamed by Burns, and then defers once again back to the Pioneers, where it can be carried by Francesca Primoli on the left-hand side. Primoli back looking for Sinkowski. Whistle blows as... Okay. Not sure what happened there. But possession here for the Pioneers, as they'll have to go all the way back now for Francesca Primoli. Whistle blows. Primoli again for Godbout. Godbout has Burns coming on the forward check, instead goes back down low for Van Gilder, who's been held off the score sheet here now. Shot on goal, easy save. And odd to see that shot too from so far out. Kind of a textbook save for the goaltender, Olivia Boxmeyer.
Especially with the time winding down. Every time the Pioneers are in their offensive end, they got to look at that giant scoreboard, seen as the time clock really becomes their enemy. As they're down by 2, they got to get at least 1 to get some sort of momentum going.
Pioneers have been held off the scoreboard for the last 17 minutes of play. And for an offensive unit that was firing on all cylinders early, not what the head coaching staff and Teresa Hansen have been looking for. Dimitri down low on the right side. Again, the Pioneers will have to be a little bit more aggressive defensively if they want to force a turnover here, but you can't be 2, and that's exactly why. Beautiful shot by Greta Shimnowski as the lead now extended to 3 for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs.
And for Shimnowski, that's such a big goal, because it adds to what the Pioneers have to try to match. And with not a lot of time left, 5:18 left on the clock, that was such an odd goal, as it just kind of arced over the entire defense. Not one of those direct passes. And again, unaccounted for, backdoor. It's almost a gimme.
We'll have a timeout here as Teresa Hansen will take it to rally the troops here at George Smith Field, as the Pioneers led 8-7 before 4 unanswered goals by the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, as they lead now their largest lead of the night by 3 goals, with 5:18 remaining here in the second half of play.
And really, I think this is a timeout that should have been taken 10 minutes ago, because I think at that point they were still down by 3, and now you're down by 4 with 5 to go. It's just the decision making by Hansen here. Why wasn't it called sooner?
The spring sports schedule is quickly wrapping up here on Suburban Community Channels. As again, we'll take a look at upcoming schedules for both of these teams and ourselves. As again, on Wednesday, we'll have girls lacrosse, Tartan and Simley. A week from today, White Bear Lake, Mahtomedi in the battle for the anchor over at White Bear Stadium. You'll be able to hear me on the PA, however, not on the play-by-play for that one. Tartan and St. Paul, that cooperative on May the 13th. And then girls lacrosse, White Bear Lake, and Tartan rounding out our schedule for these spring sports. And again, Ernhard, I think I can speak for both of us when I say that the high school sports season this year, and the college sports season too for both of us, you with St. Cloud State, myself with Augsburg and Hamlin and St. Thomas and everything out of the MIAC, I think we can say that the schedule's been odd, but we're hoping for normalcy in 2021-22.
Yes, and whatever normalcy will be, because we can't predict the future. Who knows? This could be the new normal, but with the way things have gone with the vaccines and such, it's most likely not going to be this way for very much longer. But looking ahead into the fall, into the winter, things are going to be very entertaining here in the state of 10,000 Lakes.
Well, again, you see Olivia Boxmeyer, the goaltender tonight for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, a 3-1 record coming into play, 6.50 goals against average. She's right about that tonight, having given up 8 and a save percentage of .422. And of course, if you view this like we do with a hockey mindset, you can't look at that goaltender save percentage as a anomaly. It's just hard to save a lacrosse ball. It really is. And again, you see there for Sutton Ellis, as again, I speak a little bit hyperbolic there too, is all of a sudden a 732 goals against, or save percentage, and a 380 goals against coming into play today. But for Sutton Ellis, the defense hasn't helped her tonight.
No, a lot of the times it's just split-second decisions where the Pioneers are just a little behind on defense. They don't close out as quickly as they need to. And that's really what's not helped Ellis one bit. She needs that little bit of extra help, and she's just not getting it.
The month of August will bring soccer, football, and lacrosse back to the airwaves and all social media. But for now, 5 minutes between two of the most bitter Metro East rivals in the conference and conference rivals across the state as a whole. Godbout with possession back on side, fields it further up ahead now. Delaney McGrath playing up. Working back on in now. Pioneers on a rush. Van Gilder out in front looking for Senkowski, and the rebound gotten to by Boxmeyer. And I think, Earnhardt, the Mahtomedi Zephyrs have done such a good job game planning for this game. Our player to watch, Emmy Senkowski, who leads the team in goals, aside from passing the ball and creating possessions, not much offensively. And another turnover there. Just perfect game plan here by the Mahtomedi Zephyrs.
And I think what really helped was their matchup on Saturday against the Blake Bears, who they're a top 10 team in the state for girls lacrosse. And so it gave them a chance to prepare to what they're going to see against a conference foe and a section foe as well.
So possession back again for the Pioneers. Let's work back in. Godbout looking to feed Van Gilder. Instead he'll have to back up. Godbout still with time here again. Hill Murray trailing by 3 as we'll try to work it back again further. Kangas off to the right-hand side, creating some traffic. Good challenge there by Skillings. Forces it back out again to the right-hand side for Samantha Young. All the way back inside. Once again, Van Gilder trying to work on her way in. She's triple-teamed on her way in. Beautiful chance in the legs of the goaltender, Boxmeyer, who makes another strong save.
And for the Pioneers, that's an opportunity you have to score on. In any situation, in any scenario, especially when you're down by 3 late, that it was a great defensive effort there by Boxmeyer.
And again, Olivia Boxmeyer has been looked here, and this will be another gift-free position for the Pioneers as Jane Dimitri will get another free look. So Dimitri will take it here. 4 goals on the night. That leads all Zephyr scorers. Cunnington with 3, Burns with 3, Shimnowski with 1. Again, this wind, and she'll go back to Donovan to save the time. Goes back again for Shimnowski. As the Zephyrs will work it around the arc here. Again, the Pioneers, we saw it on the last goal for Mahtomedi. You have to toe the line between being aggressive and forcing a turnover and giving up a bad look.
And here we see just Zephyrs, they're not pressuring a whole lot. I'm not sure what the time of possession or the shot clock, if there is one in girls lacrosse, but it seems like they're taking their time to get shots on net, and there is another one. 12-8 for the Zephyrs. want to say it, but for the Pioneers, it is not looking pretty.
Largest lead of the night for either team, and Ellie Donovan here on a nice pass out in front. Samantha Burns picks up her 4th of the night, and that should be just about it for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs, as in the second half, after that first minute, no timeout this time, all Zephyrs in this last 25.
And for Burns, I don't even think she just kind of spun around and tried to put it on net. I don't think, she didn't really know that ball was gonna go. Found itself off the ground into the top corner, past Ellis. And the Zephyrs with 2:18 left to play find themselves very comfortable.
Back on the counterattack now again. Here's Godbout. Godbout with 2 goals on the night for the Pioneers, as the Hill Murray Pioneers looking to get onto the scoreboard again for the first time in the last 22 minutes of play. You know, we've said it a couple of times here as Godbout working back to the far side. Out in front, Shimnowski tries to skip shot, and again, Boxmeyer there on the save. We've said it before, Earnhardt, an offensive team that's as strong as the Pioneers have, this has got to be frustrating to be held off the score sheet like this in the second half.
And I have to agree. I mean, we've seen it a couple times where just after a shot goes wide, a shot gets saved. Players, you can see like they're frustrated with what's going on and what's not, and how their offensive plan just isn't working. And again, the Zephyrs defense has just completely shut down this offense.
So we'll have another free position here on the whistle for Lorelei Van Gilder. She's got 6 goals on the night, as the Zephyrs look to get onto the scoreboard here. Again, it was 2 goals in the first minute and 5 to start the half. That gave them the 8-7 lead, but the Zephyrs now 5 unanswered goals until the, almost. And again, she tried low. She's gotten those goals on those skip shots low tonight, but that time it just hit that left side post and went back out. But Hill Murray still with possession. Shimnowski working back in again as she tries. And again, it's just amazing, that pressure that's on Shimnowski, but this will be a free position for her now, for her second free position of the game. So minute 29 remaining, Zephyrs by 4. Emmy Sinkowski racing on in, trying to go high, and she missed the net wide to the left, goes out of bounds, and another possession again here for the Hill Murray Pioneers.
That one right there, Sinkowski just took a little too much time with it, I think, just a little too fancy on the play.
Kangas goes back again here for the Pioneers as they will maintain possession back down in low. Going back out in front as it gets onto the ground, back again to the far side where it can be regained and controlled by the Pioneers again. Van Gilder gonna work her way on in. The whistle, well, the flag I thought was up, and it goes out of bounds here again. And possession will be ruled in favor of the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. So provided the score holds, providing crazy things in the last minute here, the Zephyrs will improve to 4-1, and the Hill Murray Pioneers will drop to 5-1, their first loss on the season. Coming here tonight at George Smith Field to the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Up next on the schedule for Mahtomedi, as both of these teams, we were talking with production supervisor and sports producer at SCC, as a big collision there. Bodies collide there. Now possession again gained back the other way by the Pioneers. Both of these teams will get a crack at one of the top 10 teams in the state, Henry Sibley and Gentry Academy, the cooperative there. And that's going to be another big test for both of these teams. As working back on in, Van Gilder with a skip shot, and there ends the scoring drought for the Hill Murray Pioneers, as that'll be the 7th goal on the night for Van Gilder. It's 12-9.
And like you said, despite anything crazy happening here in the last, I think, 31 seconds, I think it's really just going to be too little, too late. There was a timeout that was called with about 5 minutes left to go, and we were both sitting here in the booth be like, why haven't you called it 10 minutes earlier? Because even after the timeout, the Pioneers just didn't get things going.
We're going to have a little bit of delay here as the Zephyrs get back into position. The upcoming schedule for the Zephyrs, Sibley Gentry, Simlee, and then the reverse fixture of this at Mary Queen of Victory Stadium on Saturday, May the 15th. And for the Pioneers, you want that game so bad. You're ready for May 15th right now.
Yep, I mean, I think that game could potentially be big, just going into sections, who gets that 2 seed, because you don't want to drop a couple more games, end up being that 4 seed. Because who knows, you might have to go up against that Henry Sibley Gentry team. And speaking of that, the Pioneers get another one here late, and it is coming down to the wire.
And I think this goal will go to number 15, Kangas, as now all of a sudden it's a 2-goal game, as in that possession.
With 12.9 seconds left of the second half, number 15.
And it is Kangas who gets official credit for the goal. 18 seconds on that goal. It's now a 2-goal game here. Maybe this isn't as far out of reach as people thought.
I mean, it's just going to be a full-on rush towards Boxmeyer here in the last 12 seconds.
On the draw. Ball battled up in the air. It's still knocked down right near the Zephyr head logo. Right in midfield, still battled for 6 seconds remaining as the Pioneers quickly back on side. Now Godbout down low for Senkowski in top of the slot. Great check delivered there, but it'll be a free position. The clock says zeros. And so we'll see what happens here. It'll be a free position given here to Senkowski. But with the clock at zeros, this is little more than just exercise. They want 1 second on the clock, so that's what they'll get. So Senkowski ready for it. It's not a full free position as there's 2 defenders on the inside. So Senkowski with no option but to shoot. 1 second back onto the clock. Zephyrs 12, Pioneers 10. On the play. And with a second left, on to see Senkowski defer for the pass there. But it closes out for the Mahtomedi Zephyrs. Win number 4 on the season. And a good adjustment, good athleticism by these Mahtomedi Zephyrs to make the adjustments that they had to win this game.
And really, I think you'll agree with this too, it all came down to that first timeout by the Zephyrs about 5 minutes into the first half, where before it, they were really shaky on defense. Pioneer defenders were just bobbing and weaving their way through, putting shots on, scoring goals, and then after the timeout, the defense just completely played lights out.
Well, after the Hill Murray Pioneers took a lead early in the first half and took the lead early into the second half as well, it looked as though it was going to be one of those back and forth affairs, but really, Mahtomedi just dominant after that first minute of the second half, and it was all Zephyrs in the last 24 minutes.
It was a combination of the Pioneers making small mistakes that led to turnovers, that led to Zephyr counterattacks, along with the Zephyr defense that we talked so much about tonight.
Well, for these two teams, they'll face off again on Saturday the 15th at Mary Queen of Victory Stadium in Maplewood. But for now, the Pioneers fall to a record of 5-1, and the Mahtomedi Zephyrs improve to an overall record of 4-1. Our camera crew tonight, as we have on cameras up above, Steven Adams, Chris Stoltzman, and Ian Felix. In the truck are David Schuyler and Arlen Becker. For Earnhardt Jaworski, I'm Alex Westhead. The final score again tonight from the George Smith Stadium and Al Sandsgaard Press Box. Hill Murray Pioneers 10, Mahtomedi Zephyrs 12 on your home for Mahtomedi Zephyr Girls Lacrosse.